Yo, yo, what's up? What's up? The Fantasy Football Show. It's me, it's your man, Johnny Main, out here with the homie Nick Wilcox out here tonight. How's it going, bro? Oh, little John Cena action right there. Undertaker, one or the other. Just completely dipped out on us. We was doing so good, too, before this started. First day on the job for Nick out here. Y'all be patient with him. Be patient with him. I'm out here being patient with him, but all good, man. All good. Well, I was gonna say, welcome to the Fantasy Football Show is what I was gonna say to everybody. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July. I know mine was pretty dope, man. Nice 4th of July week. Had a little time off, and now, nope, can't see you. Got a little time off, and now for everybody, it's getting ready to be time to take y'all stinking asses back to work on Monday. Because I know that's where I'm going to be at, man. It's back at work. Nope, can't hear you, can't see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
This is crazy.
Yeah, so like I said, y'all going to have to take y'all stinking ass back to work. Because I'm going to have to take my ass back to work, too. But nonetheless, man, it was a nice little chunk of time off. So can't complain. Had some changes here in the household. So, we'll see, man. We'll see how things going. All right. I don't know. Y'all give me a thumbs up, man. Chat, let us know, man, if y'all can see Nick out there. Give us a thumbs up or give us a yeah, you can see him in the chat because I sure can't see him here. So, oh, man. Well, anyways, like I said, man, I hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Mine was pretty dope. I don't know if y'all hung out and watched some Joey Chestnut or what. If y'all did, that's pretty fire. If not, that's okay too, because I didn't watch him. But obviously Joey Chestnut never loses. So yeah, so we got that. I was waiting for Nick to come back to hear about his 4th of July week because I had a pretty eventful week. Was ready to rip into it here. But let's see here. There we go. He's back. He's back like faux flats. All right.
Am I here?
Jeez, man. Listen.
Please, I don't know what's going
man,
on, yo. This is wild.
Man, listen, you acting like
people?
you acting like Unc at the party, man, with the computer and the laptop.
Man, it's definitely wild on my end. I have no idea why. Like, it's crazy, but what's going on, great people and all the great land? You know who it is? Your favorite fantasy football homeboys in the chat. One more time. We out here. We about to get it.
Yeah, man. I was just talking about the 4th of July, man. How was your 4th of July week? How was your 4th of July? How was everything?
It was nice.
Nice, he says.
Steaks, shrimps. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, damn, okay. Damn. Okay.
Salad. Yeah, we was out here.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Between the heat though, like good lord. It was like hotter than Texas out here the other day. It was nuts. Like, and then the thunderstorm came, like people lost power out here. It's been a wild week for some people, out here for sure.
Damn, y'all lost power. Y'all had a thunderstorm.
Power, thank God.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't get none of that. No, we didn't get none of that, man. Ours was pretty. It was just hot. It was like we almost seen. I know we actually did see 100 up here in Maine, that's crazy work. That's crazy work. So we seen we caught about 100. No, I had even well, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but my week was really wild. Show up to go see Wheezy on his first, first night of the tour. I'm out here, man, feeling good, having a great time, man, I ain't actually paid American currency to go to a concert in probably 10, 13 years, actually. I ain't paid currency to go see, literally. I was like, all right, I'm just vibing, getting my drink on, me and Mrs. Bain having a great time. Just running to a couple homeboys, man, I ain't seen in a while. I was chopping it up. Damn, I said, it's getting late. 2 Chainz comes out there, does his thing. We hype, we do, and then we go have some more drinks. I was like, damn. People were messaging me yo, it ain't looking good. I was like, what do you mean it ain't looking good? I was like, the man said he gonna be here. Yo, why my man ain't even show up, man? Why my man ain't
Yeah.
even show? He ain't even show up. He ain't even show up, man. So go to see Weezy, no Weezy, and then of course
Yes.
now they're like, oh, you can come back and see it. And I'm a Weezy fan. I'm a diehard Weezy fan, so I'll probably be back. But I was just like, damn. So that happened. Then get ready for this bombshell. Get ready for this one here. Word to Teddy Long. Yo, we have a new member of the household. Yes, we have a baby French bulldog
I'm
now at
about
our
to
house.
say, I was like,
We
wait a
got
minute.
man. We got a French bulldog now, man. We got a puppy now
All
here,
right,
man.
all
Yeah,
right.
man. Yeah, we got a
We
puppy
gotta be
now,
going for
man.
a little bit.
No. We got a puppy, man. We got a puppy now. So that's been pretty entertaining. And then last night, man, we shot some fireworks. Hung out on the lake, had some
Definitely.
drinks, man. Had a good time. And I don't know about you, man, but for me, it's just like this is it. Now it's time. It's time to get ready to start getting live, man. You
Yep.
got Scott Fishbowl's kicking off tomorrow for people that are doing the slow drive. So that's kicking off. So I think, man, it's officially that time of the year, and this is kind of like it's not really like our last like show where we're not talking about fantasy per se, because obviously we'll revisit all these things again like in August, but this is like the last one, man, before we get ready to start talking, ADPs and having guests and talking draft strategy and stuff, man. So I'm really excited about it, man, for sure. So yeah, dude, that was my weekend in a nutshell, man. I know you're like, okay, well, mildly entertaining, somewhat, sort of, kind of. I don't know, but it was a weekend, so it was a week anyway. So, like I
A week.
said, yeah, we get ready to get into it, and after, like I said, after we get done tonight, all y'all gonna have to take y'all stinking asses back to work on Monday. So
Yep.
here we go.
Yep.
All right, man. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off, man. Last week we were
Yep.
talking about fast futures is what we were talking about last week, which you can find on Draftkings. Some NFL action, which I just was kind of looking at, man, and thought I was like, yo, this is actually kind of dope. Is this right here? It's not like you're married to anything for the entire season. But really, all it is, hey, we're gonna hit the touchdown part of it, man. Whoever has the most touchdowns after 3 weeks, passing, rushing, receiving. So we'll start off with passing touchdowns here. So I'll get ready to share my screen with everybody just so they can get ready to see here.
Yep.
Just bear with me, or you can give us any thoughts you got, like while I get everything set up here, man.
Start with passing, right?
Yeah, passing touchdowns is what we got. We're getting ready to hit on. Yo,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the best part about this market is like, you know, you could be completely wrong, but like still have a good stance on what you may want to put, so sprinkle some money on. There's two guys for me for passing touchdowns that really come, I wouldn't say out of left field, but they're very capable of doing it in the first 3 weeks. So the first guy for me is your guy, actually, from last year. We were
Love it
having
already.
I'll give you a hint. We're having a debate about this guy or the other guy coming into the season.
Oh, you back on Jordan Love for this?
Yeah, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Plus 2,000 for Jordan Love to lead the league in touchdown passes after 3 games. I mean, look, Jordan Love did this last year in the first 5 games, or at least it was very close to doing it. So I mean, look, I think it's totally possible for Jordan Love to do this. Christian Watson, hearing that he's relatively healthy, and Jaden Reed and all these other weapons. We don't know about Josh Jacobs as far as like what he'll look like. We're still waiting on what ramifications could come from his own situation. But if you're telling me that even if Josh Jacobs is out, and we're telling you that Jordan Love's going to have a somewhat improved offensive line and overall able to do what he's capable of doing. Jordan Love, this could be the 2,000 is definitely underrated in my eyes. It could totally hit in this market after the first 3 games. I was tempted to obviously the topper guys, like I wouldn't say the top guys are really locks per se, but they're totally like from a value perspective, like they're not 100% all the way there. So I went a little deeper. When I say
Okay.
deep, I went relatively deep.
Oh man.
So I mean, I was really tempted to talk about Kyler. So if you really kind of want to do that, you're more than welcome to. Um, the overall ramifications of that is, Kevin O'Connell, baby, KOC. Um, who knows if Minnesota? We talked about him last week. Who knows if Minnesota, Kyler Murray just runs away with this job right away with all the weapons? This is the best cast he's probably had in his whole career, from from receivers to running backs to tight end. Not tight end really, but he still has a great cast around him. And in my eyes, the 5,000 is not too bad. But I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Danny Dimes, the guy that wowed us last year. Because again, over and over again, we're like, man, I can't believe Daniel Jones is doing this right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Vanilla Vic, we called him.
I was gonna give you one more time. I was gonna give you one more time. I was gonna give you one more to get Vanilla Vic.
I was getting there. But in terms of Vanilla Vic, Daniel Jones, he's someone that would it surprise me if he did that for the first 3 games? No. Relatively weapons aren't really there in Indianapolis, right? But again, this is a market where there's a lot of you could see, this is a market, in my opinion, the fast futures, where you want to go for the value. You want to have some type of, theory on who you may want to put your money on, and here's why, versus kind of going with a little bit more of the chalk, even though the chalk, can still pay you out pretty well. It's something where you kind of still want to go after the deeper targets with bigger values, because chances are those are the ones that can definitely, have a picture of hitting. So those are my guys for the passing touchdowns. It's just, I think this market really did come down to I wouldn't say straight the schedule per se, but it's I think some of these offensive lines are going to have to also be intact. So I think if you're going up the board, if you're looking for a guy that I would probably put some just a little bit more heavier money on, probably be Justin Herbert, because we talked about the offensive line coming back. Both tackles, Slater and Alt coming back, as bookends for this offense. We can talk about Herbert potentially lighting it up again, and at plus 1,200, out of the top 6 guys, he'd probably be the one I would put some little bit more money on versus the rest. But everyone else in that top 6 definitely has a case.
Yeah, that's actually funny, man. That you actually we didn't even talk about anybody. We didn't talk at all about this, and you actually have 2 of the 5 guys that I wanted to talk about. And actually, I have it as because not knowing who the quarterback is going to be for the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
I actually had Minnesota QB, so I'm with you as far as Kyler goes. I even say, if you want to take an even smaller bet, if JJ McCarthy ends up being the starting quarterback, right now that's plus 6,500. Dare I say, but I look at that. Right, look, hear me out. The other part of this, the reason why I say this is because their first 3 games are against Green Bay, Chicago, and Tampa Bay. And Chicago, obviously, man, we know they lost some pieces, and even last year when they had some of these parts, they were still giving up a lot of yards. And they actually finished last season in the top 5 as far as passing touchdowns allowed last season with 32. And then Minnesota also has Tampa Bay, and we all know what Tampa Bay, those type of games are. They typically end up in some form of shootout. So I do actually like Kyler Murray at plus 5,000. Obviously, JJ McCarthy, we know is going to be a quarterback battle there. So we'll obviously have to see how that plays out. Same thing with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was another guy that I had on my list as well. First 3 games of the year, they get Arizona, Las Vegas, and Buffalo. Man, that's a really, really nice start for Justin Herbert. That's a really nice start for Justin Herbert.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Going against Arizona and Las Vegas in 2 out of the first 3 weeks. So we don't have to say anything about those 2 defenses. But actually, the guy that I actually don't mind is one of the other guys is Dak Prescott. He's plus 850 here. Got the Giants, got the Commanders and the Ravens the first three games. I think we all know what Dak Prescott's going to be. I think we all know what this offense is going to do, right? So that's not a shock. That's not a surprise to anybody. And I figured people would probably be curious about Drake May as well. He's got a brutal start to the season. Seattle, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. So leaves a lot to be desired. Obviously, we know about the addition of A.J. Brown, so we'll see how that all shakes out. But the guy that's on my list that actually, I think I'm going to take him. I think he's actually going to be the guy that I'm actually going to take, as much as it pains me to say this. And that's Lamar Jackson. Plus 1,600, man. Indy, New Orleans, and Dallas to start off the year. Obviously, man, Indy left a lot to be desired on the defensive side of the ball last year. New Orleans plays at that incredibly fast pace that we always talk about. And then they have the Cowboys. So I like Lamar Jackson at plus 1,600 in this space when you look at who could possibly be leading the league in passing touchdowns after the first three games. But I do think it's kind of funny how we both had Herbert and Kyler Murray here, because I low key do like them, both of those guys. So I don't know, man. Maybe I might throw like 5 at each of these 5 guys and see what comes out on the other end, man. All right. So instead of getting right over to the rushing side, like we'll kind of just go ahead and correlate it. Receiving leaders after the first 3 weeks of the season. Give me some names you got, man.
This was like, I don't know why the receivers are a lot more harder, like, than the other 2 categories. But obviously I know that it's just because, like, how much more will one receiver hit the ball versus another. So I kind of went with a mix of several guys. The first one, it shouldn't come too much as a surprise. But for me, I think it's Mike Evans. Mike Evans, for me, is just someone, like, right now, for me, like, it's making sense to me. I can understand why it may not make sense to a lot of people. But obviously, like, it's versus the other guys, like, it's just kind of hard to pick. But Mike Evans, just for talking's sake, for me, makes some sense for me. The only reason why is because, again, no George Kittle, the San Francisco offense is going to need to score. And I know Mike Evans coming into a new system. This is kind of third. He could probably be ruled out, but also he's someone I think can all of a sudden, like, big body receiver in the goal line, like, fake McCaffrey, touchdown, Mike Evans. Like, there's a few ways this can definitely go his way, but I can also see why a lot of ways it won't go his way. So for 2,000, I was like, why not? So obviously the rest of the guys up top, like, I'm not going to tell you are wrong with any of those guys.
No. They were like, you look at, like, the first, like hell, you look at the first 10 names on that list.
The only person I may rule out slightly, and it's only slightly, is, it's wrong to say, but JSN, just because he's not, like, the biggest of target ball, target guys constantly. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is somewhat in the same vein. It's Puka, it's Adams, you know what I'm saying? Like, both of those guys may cannibalize each other and whatnot. So, obviously, Jamar at 1,000, Nico at 1,500, CeeDee Lamb, like, I'd probably put, more money on, pit those guys. But I think if all systems go, and we're talking about from a value perspective, like, dare I say Rashee Rice made my list? Just because, like, if Mahomes is ready week 1, and all systems go for the Chiefs and everything's, like, checking out, the plus 3,000 for Rice is a good steal.
Third in the NFL last year in targets inside the 10-yard line with the games that he missed last season. He was somebody that kind of piqued my interest a little bit too, so that's a good call, man.
Yep. And there was one other guy for me that, I can't get this, he's someone I need to prioritize a little bit more as the season goes along, as my process continues. But it's JMO plus 5,000. Um, JMO for me is always one of those guys that, he's obviously the long burner touchdown guy. And I think again, Detroit has a relatively decent schedule upcoming for the upcoming season, and dare I say, what I'm saying, like we could get one of these years where it's like offenses run the ball a little bit more, and then all of a sudden J-Much is getting some of these couple touchdown games, first couple games. It's totally possible. The overall prototype of J-Mo kind of fits that category as well. So
Yep.
for me, like I think J-Mo is like one of those sneakier type of bigger bodied receivers that you can get at plus 5,000 at the first 3 games. Anything goes. Like we've seen Mike Williams do that in the past, and he fits that mold. So that's kind of like where I went with it in terms of like receivers, but it's definitely hard. Like I said, anyone Mike Evans and up, like I would not tell you to not put your money on.
Man, yeah, it's like
you
yeah,
gotta
like
get a
this.
little bit nitpicky. So
Yeah, no, man, this list is like crazy. Like looking
yeah,
at this and trying to like, break it down and be like, all right, like who are the guys that like you really would think, would be, or could be in that space. I think obviously, goes without saying. You were talking about Amon Ra. Crazy stat for him, man, is actually he was second last year in the NFL in targets inside the 20, and he was actually second for targets inside the 20 last year and second for targets inside the 10. So I mean, I know like people don't consider him.
Don't listen to
You
me.
don't well, no, you just like you don't think like trust me. Like I've had to do some soul searching with him myself, man. Like you don't think of him as that type of guy, like the big like red zone guy like that. But last season, right? Like obviously, Sam Laporta. You talked about JMO. JMO, I think like that's just he's a home run waiting to happen. At any point in time, and I think like we all know that for sure. But yeah, I just thought that was like pretty like crazy. Like when you looked at like Amon Ra and just like, oh, okay, like that's what it is. So he's a guy that like I definitely I don't mind in that space. Obviously, we know what Devontae Adams is all about, man. He's the Derrick Henry of wide receivers inside the 20 and inside the 10, for sure. I like George Pickens too, man. I like George Pickens. George Pickens, plus 3,000 is his number, the same as Rashee Rice, who is a guy that I also I like a lot in that space. So I think like you could definitely put him in the mix. I'll give you a dark horse, man, at plus 5,000. Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr., for all the woes and everything else that's went on with him, one thing that he actually has been pretty good at, man, during the short time during his career is he's actually been pretty good inside the red zone against man coverage and against press coverage, one of the better wide receivers in the NFL in that space. So he's a guy that I look at and I think could give you some upside. Another quick call out, too, like as far as the receivers, Dallas Goedert. Tight end. Anything is possible. I know that's a real reach, and I know it is obviously just given the way Philly plays. Yeah, but the way Philly plays offense, it's a reach, right? But like obviously, I've been on record for saying, and I'll continue to say it. I think this season, I think this is going to be Jalen Hurts. I think this is going to be one of the better years for him just because of what's going to be asked from him, what's going to be needed from the team. And then obviously losing A.J. Brown, right? Like a red zone threat, a big body guy. Dallas Goedert, he did some work last year. I think he had 8 touchdowns or 9, something like that in that space. So I like him.
Yeah, he falls into the category of like Jake Ferguson from last year for me.
Yeah. It's
definitely the same thing. So yeah, he could be this year's Jake Ferguson.
Right. Like, so, I mean, I don't mind that. Yeah, this one is probably the toughest one, honestly, because there's so many ways. Like you look at guys like, and like, not that I'm about this life, but like you just look at a guy like Rashid Shaheed plus 15,000. And we all know what that is. Another good one here that's just like for entertainment, like as we continue to go down this list, you got to throw him in there, man. Mount Washington, Darnell Washington. one of the largest human beings on planet Earth, right? And so having another season with Aaron Rodgers, what Aaron Rodgers has done in the past, like with tight ends, Mike McCarthy with tight ends. If you're having fun here, like in this space, that's just a really fun pick for me when I think about like, hey, who are some players? But yeah, I think, like I said, man, for me, I'm probably leaning a little bit more towards George Kittle. I mean, not George Kittle, but George Pickens. Excuse me. If I had to like nail a guy down, that's probably be the guy that I would go with would be GP. All right. So we'll keep on rolling here. We've got this one is fun for me, man. Like I love this next one. The
Yep.
rushing.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is fun because this is like, obviously there's a ton of guys. Obviously you have the quarterbacks that are mobile a little bit. Guys like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and then obviously you have the stud running backs, man, as well. So who are a couple guys, man, you got your eye on in this space?
I mean, you know what really popped out for me? Why is Lamar plus 5,000?
I
Did you
think
see him during your research?
no. Like the only person I paid attention to two quarterbacks, obviously Allen and Hurts. I
Yeah, of
like
course.
Lamar Jackson. Like I truly, I think obviously the preseason will tell a lot. Obviously, like when we see like what they look like schematically, but I
Right.
truly, 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 truly believe that they are going to have to. If not that I want this by any stretch of the imagination, hello, but I think like if the Ravens are going to be, if they're going to get back to the playoffs and make some noise, I think they're going to have to
Well, the
take a very
Steelers,
simple.
you're a Steelers fan, right?
But yeah, right. And for like they're gonna have to to step away from Lamar Jackson. I don't want to say running the ball. I would say yeah, like design runs for Lamar Jackson. They're gonna have to do something different, man. I think scrambling, different ball game, but design runs for Lamar Jackson. I think they've got to scale those back for him in order for him to stay healthy. If not, but it is interesting to see him at plus 5,000. But the only thing, right, is like inside the red zone, like, are you going to give it to Lamar or are you going to give it to Derrick Henry?
Right.
So, but yeah,
Nah, I mean, that was just something to me that really kind of like I was like, huh, interesting. I know like you would probably want him to not run as much, like in general, but it just we're only talking about the first 3 games. Like,
yeah, true.
like,
That's true too, man. That's true
like
too. That's true. That's very
I,
true.
I
That's
just felt like
very
from a
true.
value perspective, I'm like
No,
that is a little weird.
no,
And the same thing with
no.
Kyler Murray for me, that goes a little bit deeper, because obviously we won't really know like how he'll get utilized enough, but when it comes to like the running backs, when it comes to Mason, when it comes to Jones in that backfield for the Vikings, like would it would it be out of sorts to um, have Kyler Murray still kind of you know still be a scrambler inside the red zone? Um, I wouldn't put it past him, like a bootleg out, like
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
all of a sudden to that pylon pretty easily. And you know how he scrambles a lot too. So at plus 8,000, that's something that makes sense for me um, to lead the league first 3 games. When we see Jackson Dart here, that's like probably like him and Caleb Williams the same,
Yeah.
totally possible. But that was like some things I saw for like quarterbacks. So as far as like the running backs go, I kind of went a bit more chalk here with this market, just because like there were some okay values, but the guys that are after like HN for me, so like maybe David Montgomery somewhat fits it,
Like
depending on
that.
how Houston wants to like really utilize him. But yeah, I'm sure he's gonna have clear lane. So David Montgomery is someone that is in my like mix. I think when it comes down to it though, like I think the chalk guys in this category make a bit more sense in general. So those guys for me, literally, I mean, Jonathan Taylor fits in that category. Derrick Henry are those guys for me. And now, oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh,
Oh,
here we go. The lights back on, people. Um, but in terms of how like seeing those like Henry and Taylor, those are probably the guys.
oh,
Those are probably the
Kane.
guys. Those are probably the guys for me.
It's Kane. It's Kane. Oh my God, it's Kane. Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, I think yeah, like JT, like obviously he makes sense for sure. I definitely don't mind the David Montgomery call out because I do think Montgomery is just somebody who's just being, even like when all these moves happen. One of the first things I thought about, like during free agency, obviously I know he wasn't a free agent; he was traded there. But one of my first initial thoughts was, why is nobody talking about David Montgomery going to the Houston Texans? Like, why? Like, why is nobody talking about this? Like, they had mediocre at best running back play last season. Obviously, Joe Mixon in the whatever injury it is that he's dealt with. Woody Marks getting hurt like every other quarter. So like Montgomery, and this is the first time too for Montgomery in a long time that he's had a clear path. And it's not even really a clear path, obviously, with Woody Marks like still in the mix as far as like third down passing work in some instances, or projected anyway. But like I like that call, man, with mandatory Montgomery here. Couple call outs, man, just like from like a team perspective, right? And I'll get into like a couple of guys that not necessarily I like, but just like some good info, like if you're attacking this here. Last season, teams that were really bad against the run, the worst teams in the NFL as far as rushing touchdowns go, the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, and the New York Football Giants. Now, ironically enough, the one guy that actually has a killer schedule, he has a killer schedule, literally, but you can't find him on here given the circumstances. So maybe this is just another thought, is Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is obviously he's not on here. We know he's got some off the field issues or potential off the field issues that could arise, but he was somebody that actually had like a money schedule as far as like rushing, and just from what he did last year, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL as far as red zone work and goal to go. Josh Allen, you got to take him into consideration. He's got the first game is obviously going to be tough. They play the Texans, and I'll tell you what, sidebar, it just feels like Josh Allen can never beat the Houston Texans. It just always feels like that. Like I am almost convinced that like going into week one, like I'm going to take the Texans just because like he has always had a tough time against the Houston Texans. Then he's got the Lions and the Chargers. Derrick Henry, we talked about Lamar Jackson's schedule a little bit earlier, but Indy, New Orleans, Dallas, we know what that is. CMC, plus 1,100. He's got the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals, through the first 3 weeks. So that's a pretty nice little stretch there. And then Javonte, he's got he's got the Giants, the Commanders, and the Ravens. And then Kyron Williams is also someone else with San Francisco, the Giants, and then he's got Denver. So obviously we know that's
almost made my list. Almost.
Yeah, we know that's not an easy walk in the park. And then your boy, man, Bijan plus 1,600. It's pretty good stuff there. Omarion 2,500. I like that. There was somebody else I seen too, like for fun. Actually, I know it was down here for fun. I think you might have touched on it, but Jackson Dart.
Yep.
Because that's all he's going to do. Malik Willis could end up. I know it pains me to say, and I know it probably pains you to say, but that could end up being a thing. Him being like that, because that's the only show in town outside of your boy Devon Achane. So yeah, man, like that's what I got, man, like in that space. So I thought that was like a fun little game like to play, and like it's a nice little prop, man, like nothing crazy. You can get like a lot of plus money in there for sure. Obviously the field is very, very big. So before we get ready to go into our next couple segments, just want to pause and say, hey, great time to subscribe to the Fantasy Football Show LLC on YouTube. If you're on the old page, like definitely cool. Come from the old page to the new page for sure. Obviously, we're up on Twitter as well. The Fantasy Football Show LLC, or not, I shouldn't say Twitter. X, excuse me, DFF, DDF show on X. You can give us a follow there, like dropping a lot of like the same content. We're going to continue to keep doing this. We're going to, make sure like we have the best guests that we can possibly have here, try to make sure we bring you guys the best insight, some good entertainment along the way. So Please, if you haven't, please, to quote a great street philosopher, tell your friends about us. All right.
Tell your friends about us.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. So we got our next two segments here. We got some awards here getting ready to pop off. We did get into the defensive stuff. Obviously, the name of the show, the Fantasy Football Show, IDP players, there's no hate, it's all love. But Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on some of these guys, man, as far as
yeah.
offensive?
I
Yeah,
guess I guess I'll be quick.
he said I'll be quick.
I guess I'll
Okay.
be quick.
Okay.
I don't know the rookie of the year. Like for some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a personal thing. I'm just not as hype about some of these rookies. Excuse me, versus like the last couple of years. I don't know. Um, I guess I will say for going through this, like it came down to a couple guys for me, like, and they're obvious ones. Like I think Mendoza's my pick if he obviously comes out week. If he gets to, all depends on when he gets the starting job. Um, I do think he'll just run away with this if we're hearing that he's getting the playbook down constantly, he's gonna be starting week 1 type of thing. He would be then my pick, obviously. And at plus 400, he's not even the favorite right now. So he would be probably like the person. But let's just say in reality that he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever the Raiders kind of want to keep him back a little bit. Don't want to start him right away. Don't want to throw him into fire immediately. Let's just say for that instance that happens, that occurs. Kind of comes down to, will the Cardinals be able to utilize Jeremiah Love to his fullest capability? Or will one of the receivers really break out? So I guess what it comes down to for me is the second year quarterbacks in Tennessee and in New Orleans. So with Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson. I think I'll give the edge to Carnell Tate because I think both of us, we talked about liking this Tennessee unit right now. And I'm not gonna slight New Orleans per se. It's just obviously Chris Olave is a very established receiver in New Orleans. And it may be a bit more tougher for Jordan Tyson to really kind of break out in a situation like that. But I think with Tennessee, you're obviously, wanting a bona fide breakout receiver, Garnell Tate, and I think he has all the tools and all the abilities to do so. So there's that for me. And then obviously Jadarian Price is someone that, who knows what Charbonnet's going to look like as we get more updates on him. But he's someone that I think I'm going to definitely keep my tabs on. I think you can put a few dollars on if you think that based on how Seattle has ran their offenses, there's still a place for Price to potentially break out. But as far as the top guys, those would pretty much be the evaluation on that. I think the rest is situational. Obviously, I think if I'm gonna pick a deeper guy after those guys, it comes down to how they get utilized in an offense. So. Kenyon Sadiq for me, and it's not a Jet thing. I think it's just a guy that I'll all right, he obviously from an odds perspective or value perspective, clearly is separated. So I think that's someone that I think from a place that we're talking about longer odds, if we're talking about if the rest of the class is not really performing, that would make some sense for me. But I think Jeremiah Love, Arizona, man, I don't know what to really, conform on them just yet. Will they do the right thing? Who knows? I don't
What
know.
is the right what is the right thing? Who
The
even
right
knows?
thing is make sure Jeremiah Love gets the ball. You have a balanced attack, off play action. You know what I'm saying? You give Jeremiah Love, you give him that nice little workload, and you don't split up the backfield like you had in Arizona for the last several years. That's
yeah. I feel you. I think there's I think it's and not intentionally. I just think just through the natural flow of conversation, a lot of the fears that I have for him are the same fears that I have for Devon Achane this year. It's different. It's a different scenario. I know Devon Achane is the only show in town, right? But I think when you're looking at two teams that are I think especially like with Arizona, when you look at a team that's
Right.
like, they already have like the guy with McBride, like, like this Michael Wilson and MHJ thing. That's gonna be fun to watch, right? And then
Yeah.
obviously like the most loaded running back room in the NFL, with the Arizona Cardinals. Like, if it's week 16, like in week 15, like, are you really trotting Jeremiah Love? And I know this is this is for the year, like week 15, week 16 and 17, like, are you really trotting Jeremiah Love out on the field to have 20 plus carries? Maybe so. The Raiders did that last year with Ashton Genty. Like, they had a very similar concept, but again, it was a different scenario, not as many mouths to feed in that backfield. So I think that'll be interesting. However, the one thing I do want to throw out there for you, man, because this is crazy. Because of course I'm like just like rifling through stuff. I'm like, all right, like, well, like what are some ties? What are some correlations? I'll just give you one guess. The last rookie of the year to play running back was who and what year? Just a wild guess. Like,
Um, 5, 4, 3, 2.
yeah,
What
okay.
the Zeke? Cowboys?
Saquon.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
What?
Saquon. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Saquon 2018.
Oh,
Saquon
wow.
28. Yeah, 2018 Saquon. And I was like, damn. I was like, so nobody else,
Right.
since from 2020 to 2025, no running back has won the award, right? And there's been some very, very highly touted, prospects that have came out, as far as running backs go. And yeah, no running back. It's either a quarterback or a receiver. So like that kind of helped me narrow down the list. For me, Mendoza, I like again, like I think obviously we'll have some time to chat on this like later on.
Yep.
But I still have a hard time trying to figure out like how do we get here. Oh, trying to figure out how do we get here.
How do we
With the
get here?
Raiders. Yeah, how do we get here with the Raiders with, the I don't want to call them two first round picks, but two picks that'll probably go and be the first, 15 the first 20 players off the board, with an offense or with a team that's not going to win a lot of games. So I think it's again, I don't hate Ashton Genty as a prospect at all. Like I don't hate him. I
Yeah.
actually do like him. I just have always said like I just think like the environment and scenario was not a very good one. So I think for me, it kind of like really just jumbles it down to Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson. I think if I really, if I wanted to, to go like into a different space, I would probably give Makai Lennon a shot. Just like when we look at skill play,
Yeah.
just like we know we think we know, but we have no idea.
That's true.
Like yeah, like with them, like we
That's
don't.
true.
And for him to be as touted and as polished as he is, like as a route runner in the middle of the field, like we obviously know Philly still wants to run the football at heart. So I think like there's definitely a space right where he can make some noise for himself, right? Like obviously I've been talking about this Jalen Hurts thing. Well, hey man, like Makai Lennon, like that limit, that's the spot. So no tight ends for me. No running backs like in any of these other spaces. And I agree with you, man. I don't like this class is not it's not very deep offensively. It's
On
not
paper.
very
On paper.
yeah. Right. It's like
I
obviously
reserve the right to change my opinion.
we haven't played one down of football. We haven't played one down of football. And if somebody wants to hold me to this on July 5th, God bless you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But like, yeah, like that's why I say bring back the preseason. Bring back the preseason. So yeah, man, like I just thought that was just like an interesting take. And then just to go like even a little bit further, just so we can kind of, move it along here, is like the last since 2020, Justin Herbert, these are the rookies of the year. Justin Herbert, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, CJ Stroud, JD5, and Ted McMillan. So I think this is a year. There was a year there where it was back-to-back wide receivers with Chase and Wilson. I think we'll have the same thing with Ted McMillan and one of these wide receivers here, whether it's Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. For me, that's what
If asking today, I'll do it with Cardinal Tate.
fair.
But that's Talking about July 5th, people.
Yeah, July 5th. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'd probably just go Tyson, man, just to be different, like at this place. Like, right. Like, I think there's definitely, like, again, like, there's definitely a path where Jordan Tyson could be this guy. Like, we talked about it, or, got all going last week about how bad the NFC South was. Great opportunity for him here, man. And Tyler Shunk, like, if he takes the next step, you got something here, man. So, all right. So next up, we have offensive player of the year, which this is definitely for me. There's a couple of guys that really stick out, like for this right here, and obviously did a little bit of research, like on this here for the offensive player of the year, just kind of the history of the award and some of the players and
Yeah.
what their seasons kind of look like. Um, what are you thinking, man?
Uh, you know what? So we haven't, for the offensive player of the year, we haven't had a quarterback win this award since 2018. Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So tells me one or two things. The AP voters just like a guy who gets a ton of volume, in general. But it's like I said, the earlier years of this, like not earlier years, but the earlier 2000s awards and whatnot and stuff like that, like you would have more of these quarterbacks, like pretty much in sync with the MVP. But now it's like, yeah, like it's more based on like pure volume and pure production, from the running back or receiver. So, it boils down in my eyes here for me, like how maybe a longer shot play can get there, and then how can the chalkier guy would get there. So my longer shot play, um, just boils down to I think team success, and I think that overall, I think if this player stays healthy, which is obviously like you know you're gonna like obviously need that. But I think this goes into a narrative for me that like is conflicting, but it's Lamar Jackson. Um, Lamar Jackson for me, like
Mm.
Lamar Jackson for me is
Mm.
just this is I feel for me right now, and I could put myself on the spot, but for Lamar for me right now, like he really needs to showcase that he still has, you know, that MVP caliber like in him. Like I'm not saying like if he doesn't do it this year, he's washed. Da da da. I think from a value perspective here, though, we're talking about Lamar Jackson, and we talk about how deadly he can be, both run and pass. Like plus 6,000, and then plus 5,500 for Allen. Those guys, these guys right here who constantly have the ball in their hands constantly, these are definitely like too low for these guys, versus some of the rest of these other guys here. So I think if we're going a little different, I think that if we're going with can potentially go with guys who have the playmaker, ball in their hands a ton. I like both of those quarterbacks like that constantly do that. And if we're talking about, in the same realm, like I would honestly say like if we talk about Jalen Hurts in that same category, who's much more deeper, um, it's just that same thing. I think you want to look for offensive player guys who, will. These are long shots, but they overall have the capabilities because they always have the ball in their hands, and they're going to dictate the offenses. Especially if we're talking about the Ravens, they're them getting more vertical offensively. Not to say they won't run the ball, but I think if they're going to get more offensive, like vertically, that's going to more than likely lead to more offensive points and more production, and that would be engineered by Lamar Jackson. So that's where I stand on that. I think for the chalkier play, boils down to obviously Gibbs and Bijan. Those are guys I'm going to tell you like 10 out of 10. Put some money on because I do like both of the way those running backs can easily hit for offensive player of the year because they truly have either one or both of them have truly a real breakout. We've seen glimpses of Gibbs, obviously, and Bijan, but obviously Bijan a little bit more. If I'm picking the two, it's Bijan right now, just because we've seen him, really break through, like, in all facets of the game. So that's, for me, the slight edge goes to Bijan in that category. But the guy I'm going to really, say, I'm going to probably stick my claim on is Jamar Chase. And the reason for it is because look, I think Cincinnati, like I talked about, I'm gonna kind of stand on business. I think Cincinnati is going to be one of those teams that, you know, I think kind of finally puts it all back together. You know, this team like 6 years ago when they went to, you know, the Super Bowl, like it was just some of these pieces were the same, are still here. And I think with Jamar Chase, he's just one of those electric receivers that you know, you know, that can put up like if you told me Jamar Chase put up 300 receiving yards like in a game, like that wouldn't be out of the ordinary, right? That would be within his ceiling realm, right? Um, so in my eyes, from a ceiling perspective, I think Jamar Chase is someone that plus 950 as a chalkier play um, makes more sense to put a little money on. Obviously, we talked about it last week. Puka Nakua. Puka is someone that like I've you know again, I was one of the few guys to be on Puka Nakua before he really broke out. Check the tapes, and with that being said, I do like both of those guys, but I think Jamar Chase is a guy I'm feeling more and more confident as the days go along with Cincinnati and everything. Because the only way this doesn't get there is if Burrow's not, once again, not healthy or whatever. But even if it somewhat does happen, I mean, Jamar Chase is a volume hog. So totally possible that happens. But that's where I kind of stand on this list. I had a little. I'll talk about it really fast. CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb's someone for me. We talked about Dallas in that same way as Cincinnati in terms of offenses. Like, you know, I think CeeDee Lamb still has some of those same capabilities as Jamar Chase does. I just think Chase has a bit more of a higher ceiling for this category.
Yeah. Well, once again, we mildly agree on something because Jamar Chase was was my favorite guy like for this award here tonight. And it's for me, I've got like a couple of guys and like I've talked about them already for sure. I think obviously, goes without saying, Gibbs, Bijan. All right, cool. Like we already know like that's
Yeah.
1000% in the cards, like 1000% both avenues. Chase, like, yeah, I think like this like I truly believe that this could be his best NFL season, point blank. And actually, believe it or not, it's crazy to think this. As good as he's been, he's actually never won this
Never
award.
won it.
Never won it, which is crazy. Which that like, to kind of echo a little bit more, like that lets me know, like, all right, maybe this is the time. I mean, the last couple of winners, Derrick Henry, Cooper Cup,
You
Jake
hear that,
Jettis,
people? Make sure you get Jamar Chase everywhere.
CMC, Saquon, JSN. Yeah. But like obviously, like in this space, that's what it is. And then like I said, Puka, I think Puka last year actually was second place in offensive player of the year votes. But obviously the thing for him, right, is like, you're tied to McVay. And some of these players are like in really good situations. So it almost kind of waters it down
Right.
versus like being in like an offensive system that's not, top of the line. So I think there's that. A couple of other players that like I'm really, really infatuated with, and I've already like placed one of these bets already. Omarion Hampton at plus 4,000. I think like if you told me Omarion Hampton ended up being the offensive player of the year in this, the NFL, this Mike McDaniel's offense, I'd say, like I can totally subscribe to that. Can totally believe in that. He was obviously trending that way before week 4, and he got injured. You bring in a more creative mind offensively. Obviously, we've talked about the tackles coming back. It just seems like this is a team that health pending, and that's always the caveat with with the Chargers is health pending. This could be an absolute blow up spot for him. I think AJ Brown is in the mix too, man. I think that at plus 4,000 as well. Finally going to an offense, man, that actually is going to be throwing the ball. I know New England ran the ball quite a bit last year, but AJ Brown has had a history of playing in run heavy offenses. He played obviously with Vrabel back in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. Obviously, we know what the deal was with the Philadelphia Eagles in that offense. So I don't mind him in that space at all. And I think if I'm going to throw a quarterback out there, I'm going to throw my boy Caleb Williams out there
Yep.
1,000%. Like
Yep.
you know it.
But
And I could,
what about Justin Herbert then?
yeah, I think. again, quarterback is typically an MVP spot. Like
It
it's
is.
typically an MVP spot.
It is.
So like I don't think that a quarterback will win this award unless there's just another quarterback, unless there's two quarterbacks that just play absolutely lights out during the season. I know the Chicago Bears have a little bit of a difficult schedule this season, so it might not shake like that for the Iceman. But if I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to throw a couple of long shots, he's one that I would throw long shots because, like, as you go down the list, like, and you guys can see, right? Like, I mean, when you get the quarterbacks, you're talking guys like Jared Goff at like, plus 20,000. And like, we know like Jared Goff can be hot or cold. I mean, there's been a couple years where, people have actually talked about him being in the MVP race. And it just hasn't shaken like that. So, yeah, those are my guys. Like, those are the guys that like I look at and I'm like, okay, like I I feel okay, specifically on Marion Hampton. So Hampton, Chase, Puka, Caleb Williams. If you want to get different and throw a quarterback into the mix, I think those are for me anyway right now. Like those are the best candidates. I think for some offensive players, offensive player of the year for sure. So yeah, so we got that. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think, man. Let me see. I might just go ahead and just do this here for the peeps here, just because I want to make sure that I'm about this here. So let's see. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and throw one in here, man. I think we go ahead and combo up Tyson and Chase and see what we get here for odds after DraftKings checks my location. But in the meantime, while they're checking my location,
I hate that.
uh,
Oh,
oh my god, oh
so
my god,
annoying.
let
Yeah.
me let you look around. I've been in the same place I've been at for the last 56 minutes. Do better. All right, so let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one in here for you guys to let you know about that life. Jamar Chase, and we're going to go.
Aren't you gonna be upset when Darnell Tate and Chase win this?
No, no, because I'll just come back and revisit it, man. I'm cool with it. Why is the bet placement unavailable? Oh my god, why? Oh, what, you gotta like put like $10 on it? Is that what it's gotta be? No. Oh my god.
Location.
Yeah. Well, after you just check my location. All right. Well, let's refresh here and see if we can get this. In the meantime, while I'm trying to work on this here, shout out DraftKings for making our life easier here tonight. Uh, shout out. Yes. Yeah. Okay. No, it's not gonna let me do it right now. So I'm just gonna have to do it and throw it out there. Um, No, so obviously, appreciate everybody watching tonight. Like I said, man, we're gonna start getting into it for sure. Next week, hoping to have a guest on next week to be named later. Just waiting for the okay on that side of things. But we'll start talking. We'll get into our. We did this last year, actually. We did our ADP versus series. Yeah,
Yeah.
although it feels like
people.
versus is kind of played out, in the cultural
Yes,
world,
man.
it feels like it's played out. But nonetheless, like we'll be back for it for sure. Just talking about players at their average draft position, who we take over, who, why. I'm pretty sure Nick probably beat me in that one last year because I'm pretty sure you took McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, and because we had Prescott, Jordan Love, Dak, and CMC, Derrick Henry. And receivers, I can't remember who we did for receivers.
Yeah. We'll go back to
Yeah, and it's in the vault somewhere. Or maybe who knows, man? It might be a good 2-2 tie. But yeah, we'll be back for the ADP versus series next week, talking about that. Getting super excited for the fantasy football season. You guys already know it's here. It's business time. 4th of July hits. All right, man. Listen. We back at it, man. We back at it. So, you got anything, man, before we get ready to get up out of here, bro?
everybody. Continue to enjoy summer right now.
Yeah. Oh,
I know
yeah.
we're talking about football and we're getting excited for that, but listen, don't forget to enjoy the summer. Don't forget to go to the beach. You know what I'm saying? For some of y'all, get some tan on. For some of us, try not to get tanned. Uh,
Man, and
Go
I'm
out and
like,
play some
whew,
games. Go out and have some fun. I know you guys had some cookouts, whatever. To have more of those. Go camping. Yeah, I'm telling you, go do the summer stuff now because I promise you, when we start doing this in October, like, oh man, it's starting to get colder out. Oh yeah, nah, nah, nah. It's like, all right, just go out and enjoy your life. So,
yeah, I wish I would say that, but I probably won't. I probably won't be saying that. Not a huge fan of mosquitoes to start
yeah,
off with. I got that good blood that they always come and attack, and then the main state animal, the main black flies aggressive here. Um, but yeah, no, I'm with you, man. No, enjoy summer, man. We only got what 10 more weeks until kickoff for sure. So yeah, no, but I guess, man, we're getting ready to dip, man. Appreciate everybody checking us out tonight again. Last humble, aggressive beg. Follow the Fantasy Football Show LLC on YouTube. All your friends are doing it. If you're not doing it, find better friends.
yeah.
If your friends are doing it, they're good people, and we appreciate them for sure. Thank you much. And we'll see you guys next Sunday night, 8 p.m. ADP versus series. And if you guys have any players that you guys want to recommend to us too, to break down, man, as part of this process, please, slide into one of our DMs and let us know for sure. But outside of that, man, it's me, the man Johnny Main, my brother from another mother, Nick Wilcox. Get ready to take y'all stinking asses back to work on Monday morning. We out.